What's up, everyone? It's Q from Retro Q Gaming, and I remembered that the PS4 will actually allow you to record footage up to 15 minutes long and then export it onto a USB device to send across. So I captured a quick little video of Final Fantasy 15 episode Duscae demo, because I felt like in my previous video that without the actual footage to back it up, that it would ring a little hollow, not completely, but like, even though the demo itself is sub 1080p and with a very questionable frame rate, and they're looking to hit 1080p 30 FPS in the full game, the PS4's recording is 720p 30 FPS. That's just nothing I could do about that, but the fact that the game with the unfinished engine doesn't hold 30 FPS, it's not really an issue. So I'm gonna explain a little bit of this first. Real quick, this save is loaded up after I completed the demo. So essentially it continues on from right before the end. So once we get into this now in a second, despite the horrible loading time at the start, that way, I'll be able to talk about and explain a little bit as we go. So, come on. Next gen, people, yeah. Next gen fucking loading times. Okay, here we go. So, straight away, you'd say, oh, well, I'm in the populated area. That's just a little message that pops up once you finish it. Now, straight away, you'll see weird amounts of temporal aliasing and lack of anti-aliasing all over the place. But it seems that AA just isn't completely gone. It's not completely turned off. It's really weird. But as I'm running through this area here now, you'll see that even in a minimal situation, the frame rate is fairly questionable at best. But it is fairly impressive looking, I will give it that. Now, despite the PS4 uses some fairly shitty compression, especially down to 720p, but it still looks phenomenal. Now, it doesn't look as good in this video, especially once it's re-encoded and uploaded onto YouTube. It doesn't look as good as it actually does on a proper quality TV, but you can see the draw distance. It all looks really good. Now, here's the first up with the combat thing. So, straight away, you're in with the Warp Strike. Now, I'm literally holding square here, nothing else. And now, I hit triangle for Tempest, and you can see the frame rate fucking nosedives. It's down to maybe single-digit FPS. So again, I'm holding square. He's doing everything automatically. I bring it around, I target a little bit. Boom. Holding square again. That's it. And with that, you can see the frame rate as well, even when, say, there's some effects and all happening, even minimal amount of effects, it still goes pretty chugs along. Now, like I mentioned a minute ago, the draw distance is still pretty good, not just for the enemies, but some of the other stuff. Like, for example, we saw there a second ago, there was a hut. So the hut looks good. So now here we go. We're straight into another fight. You'll see that not only with the frame rate being all over the place with the combat, but it's so very, like, I couldn't dodge just there because the frame rate was being questionable. It might not look so bad on this video or on YouTube, but when you're actually playing it and it comes down to a split-second decision to press a button to be able to dodge, it goes all over the place because the reaction time of what's happening is just, it's not there, and the input lag and the response time, it's questionable. Now, you're seeing here again, the frame rate, okay, it's supposed to do a little bit of a Street Fighter style pause when you hit something that's off guard, or at least it seems that way, because that happens in every fight I've ever done that's happened in. The off guard thing. But like, look at Dragoon Jump here. Straight away, the frame rate nosedives. Now, I know I've said it before, the engine is not finished. It tends to happen a lot more when there's particle effects or any type of alpha effects going on. So hopefully it's improved anyway. But we'll go we'll continue on with the little bit of the combat here. Unfortunately, we didn't get to check the off guard stutter, if you will, just there because he died. So back to running around, you can see the frame rate already. It's wildly erratic again. There's basically one other enemy one thing on screen that's not knocked because you can't really see the other NPC characters I have behind me. And fair enough, one of them showed on for a split second. But again, we're back into combat. It's more of the same. Warp in, hold square. That entire combo and just killing that thing, short of the warp strike, that was it. Hold square. I'm doing the same thing here. You can see, look, warp strike. There we go. Hold square the entire time. Bam. That's it. You notice that, well, short of me spinning the camera around a little bit, that he followed him, even like when he was knocked to the side a little bit, and even in one of the situations where he actually was knocked out of range, holding square would just bring you in here. Now I went in to try fight these big things here, but it doesn't let you. So I was a bit disappointed. But it is a good opportunity to show off the graphics. The water looks fantastic. Pretty much everything going in the game, environment wise, detail wise, almost all of it looks fantastic, and it looks next gen, which is very promising, especially if they can improve the performance of the engine once the game comes out. Inadvertently, this turned into the day-night cycle, which is going to show off a nice little bit of some of the effects and all, because you have the night cycle coming in, so the light's going to change, the effects of, say, the torch and all is going to change. It looks, some of the combat, like, again, I'm holding square here, you can see him just following him around, there, still square. And you can see once it hits, now there was a parry. I think I get a parry in this, but I can't remember. Oh yeah, the nighttime shows off a lot of the effects much better. So that's one of the added bonus. Like, you can see the detail and the illumination effects on the other characters in the background once I'm during the fight. So that's a nice bonus that I wasn't really planning on. But here we are again, warp strike, hold square. I got knocked down because even though the parry thing came up, you don't have the time to do it because of the frame rate. It's been very questionable at best. But so let's continue on anyway. You'll see some more stuff. There's a special thing I specifically waited to record in at the end of this, so that'll be a nice treat. But as you can see, just while I'm running there and jumping around and all, the frame rate was just it was being sporadic. Now I know I've mentioned it so many times at this point, but as many times as I do mention it, I just want to clear up that I'm well aware it's unfinished, and I'm hoping it is improved with the final game. So let's go what we have more here. More combat. Hold square. Look, he follows him around. I threw in Drain Blade there by hitting triangle, but you can see the frame rate once I hit Drain Blade. It crawled for the 1 or 2 seconds that I was doing that with the effect. The frame rate just nosedived. That makes combat really hard and really difficult to adjust to when you have multiple enemies and you do an effect. Not to mention if they do something tech related and you do, or your NPCs do something tech related as well, it can be just all over the place, and it can be really hard, really flow breaking, and especially with some of the I've lost my train of thought, I'm sorry. So we'll move on anyway. But some of the targeting issues, that's what it was. I don't think you really see too many in this, but some of the targeting issues, there needs to be a lock on with a cycle kind of thing, because it's not smart targeting at all. I mean, you could be trying to aim at something that's right in front of you in the center of the screen, and you'd accidentally be aiming at something on the far right corner 50 meters away. It's really a pain, but hopefully, again, the same thing, hopefully that's fixed up and improved on once the actual real game comes out. So I was trying to trigger something here, which I won't tell you what it is, but I noticed that the enemies weren't attacking, and there wasn't enough space really to or not so much space, there wasn't enough ferocity in the enemies to really try it, so I said, fuck it, I'll give up. But there you go, Drainblade again, that one didn't suffer as much. Tempest and Dragoon Jump tend to be the two worst offenders in the frame rate tech department. Tempest probably being the worst one I found. Now, let's see what else we have. This is just finishing the quest, picking up the Magicite, triggers a fight essentially. But even as you can see, I was moving the camera around there and the frame rate just dropped again. So you can see that when in my other video and when I talk about it here, I'm not talking about isolated incidents. It's very consistent, or very inconsistent if you will. But the frame rate issues, I mean, they're not few and far between, and they're more and more noticeable during the entire thing. Now I'm standing around here to try get the enemies to beat the shit out of me, because there's a special reason I'll go into now in a few minutes once it actually starts happening. So I noticed nothing wasn't going the way I planned, so I just started beating up the imps. But because it's nighttime and you're seeing all the light and the torch and all this, there's Tempest slowing down the frame rate to a crawl again. But you can notice that the detail and the quality of look at the imp I'm beating right now. It looks really good. The detail, the shadow, the quality, it's all fantastic. It really looks like a next gen game. Some of the physics there, as you can see, the jacket going everywhere, that's really nice. Some really nice effects. Now, here's a good example where the frame rate is just diabolical. Tempest again crawls the frame rate. Even spinning the camera around, I realized there's a couple of enemies actually moving around, all doing stuff, and that's hurting the frame rate as well. But now these guys actually wanted to attack me, which was nice, because I figured, okay, with several enemies I can finally get what I want done. So what was I doing? Here we go, I'm into the downed mode. Now I could use a potion, here all the alpha effects and all kick in, but what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to hold X and I'm going to summon Ramuh. And here is what the summon looks like. I'm still taking a couple of beatings because it takes a couple of seconds for the actual thing to kick in. You see all this cool lightning and all in the background, that's indicating the Ramuh summon. And here we go. This is the actual summon itself. Now, this just looked fucking beast. That's all I can say. This is a real next-gen looking thing. Now, you can notice, because of everything that's going on, the massive view area, all the effects and detail, that the frame rate is pretty bad. I mean, that just looks fucking cool though. That's all I can say. That just looks fucking deadly. Even with the frame rate being what it is, it just does a ridiculous amount of damage, and it leaves. Now here, this is why you'll see me spin the camera around here. You can already notice the frame rate is crawling, and I start spinning the camera around, it's still crawling. There's Ramuh just looking like a beast in the distance, as he does anyway. But that's pretty much it. That's essentially the end of the end of the fight, or the end of coming up close to the end of the demo. You see Tempest again crawling the frame rate. Just the hit at the end seems to always cause frame rate issues because of some of the effects that come off it. I'm just pretty much going to finish up this fight. There's Dragoon Jump dropping it to a crawl. Yeah, I'm just going to stop talking about it at that point anyway. So this has been Q from Retro Q Gaming on my little kind of eyeball and tech analysis from the Final Fantasy 15 episode Duscae demo one. This one was taken on PS4. So let me know in the comment section below about your experience with the game, your hopes for the actual full game. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You can follow me on Twitter. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the rest of the videos in my channel.